Before we dive in, please remember that the information in this presentation is for educational and informational purposes only. This video is not a substitute for professional financial or academic advice. The decision of how to prepare for standardized tests is a personal one, and you should always consult with a qualified guidance counselor or educational advisor to address your specific circumstances. I want you to picture this. You're sitting at your kitchen table. The letter from the College Board feels heavy in your hands. You rip it open, and there it is. Your SAT score. It's fine. It's not a disaster, but it's not the number you were dreaming of. It's not the number that gets you into that school. And almost instantly the conversation starts. Your parents, with the best intentions in the world, start throwing around names. Kaplan, Princeton Review, Huntington. They sound official, like institutions of higher learning themselves. And then you see the price tag. $2,000, $3,000, sometimes more. For a 6-week course? For a handful of practice tests and a binder full of tips? And a single terrifying question burns in your mind. Is this really worth it? Is this the golden ticket? Or is it the most expensive gamble of your high school career? That question is why we're here today. Because you are not alone. Every year, millions of American families pour over $1 billion into the test prep industry. $1 billion. With a B. They're buying hope. They're buying a competitive edge. They're buying peace of mind. But what are they actually getting in return? A famous Stanford study, one that the big prep companies really don't like to talk about, found that the average score increase from a commercial prep course was only about 30 points on the 1,600-point scale. 30. Let that sink in. For thousands of dollars, the average student gets a bump that is often statistically insignificant in the eyes of a top-tier college admissions officer. So what's going on here? Is it all a scam? Or is there a hidden truth that the averages don't show? By the end of this video, you are going to have the answer. We are going to rip apart the marketing, dig into the real data, and give you a crystal clear framework to decide what is right for you. You will know exactly what you're paying for. You'll understand the psychological tactics used to sell these courses, and you'll discover the critical difference between effective preparation and expensive handholding. We will unpack whether you're paying for knowledge or just for confidence. And most importantly, you'll be able to determine if a $2,000 course is your best path forward, or if that money and your time could be used in a much smarter way to get the exact same or even better results. Let's be honest, the pressure is immense. The SAT, whether we like it or not, has become this mythical gatekeeper. It stands between you and your dream school, between you and tens of thousands of dollars in scholarship money. It feels like this one 4-hour test has the power to define your future. Your friends are all signing up for courses. Your parents are worried you'll be left behind. There's this pervasive fear of missing out, a fear that if you don't do everything possible, you're not trying hard enough. You're letting yourself down. You're letting your family down. The test prep industry is built on this fear, thrives on it. They sell you a solution to a problem they helped create. The anxiety that your own hard work, your own intelligence isn't enough. They promise to unlock your potential, to reveal secrets of the test that only they know. They paint a picture of a student walking into the test center calm, confident, armed with strategies to crush every question, while the unprepared student walks in nervous and uncertain. It's a powerful, compelling story, and it sells. But we're not here to just accept the story they're selling. We're here to be detectives. We're going to dissect this industry from the inside out. First, we'll pull back the curtain and compare their bold marketing promises directly against the hard, scientific data on score improvement. We'll look at not just the Stanford study, but multiple studies to see what the real verifiable score gains are. Then we're going to explore the vast landscape of options out there. This isn't just about the big, expensive classroom courses anymore. We'll analyze the pros and cons of one-on-one tutoring, which can run over $200 an hour. We'll look at the explosion of online platforms, with their AI-driven learning and slick dashboards. We'll even investigate the power of a $20 prep book and the trove of free resources, like Khan Academy, that are officially partnered with the College Board itself. We're going to ask the tough questions. What specific components of these programs actually work? Is it the content review, the strategy sessions, or is it simply the accountability of having a structured schedule? The core conflict here is not just about money. It's about information. It's about clarity in a world designed to be confusing. The test prep industry has created a fog of anxiety and complexity, and then they sell you a very expensive flashlight. They tell you the test is a game and only they have the rule book. They convince you it's not about what you know but about how you play. This creates a dependency, a belief that you are at a disadvantage without their expert guidance. They frame self-study as a noble but naive path, like trying to climb Everest without a Sherpa. Our goal today is to clear that fog. We're going to give you the map, the compass, and all the tools you need to see the landscape for what it really is. We're going to empower you to make a decision based on logic, data, and your own unique learning style, not on fear or marketing hype. So let's begin this journey by tackling the biggest, most fundamental piece of the puzzle, the promise. What exactly are these companies promising when you hand over your credit card? They promise score increases guaranteed. They promise access to elite universities. They promise a future. But what does a score increase guarantee actually mean when you read the fine print? And what does the science of learning and memory say about their methods? Let's dive into the world of test prep marketing and separate the facts from the fiction. So let's pull back the curtain on that 150-point increase or your money-back promise. It sounds like a risk-free investment, right? If they can't deliver, you get a refund. But it's a brilliant piece of marketing because the guarantee is often structured in a way that makes it almost impossible to claim. It's a classic case of read the fine print. But the fine print is designed like an obstacle course. First, there's the attendance requirement. You usually have to attend every single class. Miss one class because you got sick or had a family emergency. Guarantee void. Then there's the homework. You'll likely be required to complete 100% of all assigned homework, practice sets, and drills. That's hundreds, sometimes thousands of problems. Didn't finish that last problem set on a Tuesday night? Sorry, you're no longer eligible. On top of that, you often have to take every single proctored practice exam they offer, sometimes 4 or 5 of them, often on weekend mornings. It's a gauntlet of compliance. The company is betting on the simple reality of life, that a busy high school student will, at some point over 8 or 12 weeks, slip up. And the moment you do, they are off the hook. The guarantee isn't really a promise of their teaching effectiveness. It's a challenge to your personal perfection. But let's say you are the perfect student. You do everything. You're still not guaranteed to get your money back. Why? Because of how they measure your score increase. The before score is almost always a diagnostic test you take on day one, often cold with no prior prep. It's designed to capture you at your absolute lowest point. The after score might be your official SAT score, or it might be their own final proprietary practice test. So what they're really guaranteeing is an improvement from your worst, rustiest performance to a performance after you've spent dozens of hours just refamiliarizing yourself with the material. A significant chunk of that guaranteed point increase comes not from genius teaching methods, but simply from shaking off the rust and remembering basic geometry formulas you forgot from freshman year. This brings us to an even bigger secret in the industry, the tests themselves. Major prep companies spend millions developing their own proprietary practice tests. And here's the thing, they don't have to be just like the real SAT. In fact, some companies have been known to deliberately make their initial diagnostic tests harder than the real thing. Why? Simple psychology. If you score a dismal 1100 on their super hard diagnostic, you feel a sense of panic and urgency. You sign up for their most expensive package. Then, as you take their subsequent practice tests, which might be slightly more aligned with the real SAT, your score naturally climbs. You feel like the program is working wonders. You see progress. By the time you take the official test, even a modest score feels like a massive victory compared to where you started. They manufactured the problem, and then they sold you the solution. They're not just teaching you, they're managing your perception of your own progress. So, the marketing is clever, but the marketing isn't what gets you a better score. The teaching is. And this is where we have to look past the sales pitch and into the science of how our brains actually learn and retain information. Because if you understand this, you hold the keys to the kingdom whether you pay for a course or not. Let's start with a concept called the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve. In the late 1800s, a German psychologist named Hermann Ebbinghaus discovered something fundamental about memory. We forget things exponentially. When you learn something new, your memory of it is 100%. But within just 24 hours, you might forget 50 to 80% of it if you don't review it. Within a week, it's almost entirely gone. This is the natural state of our brains. Think about the typical SAT prep course model. It's an 8-week high-intensity boot camp. You learn about quadratic equations in week 1. You might not see them again in depth until the final review in week 8. According to the forgetting curve, by the time week 8 rolls around, most of what you learned in week 1 has vanished from your accessible memory. This is what we call cramming. You're shoving a massive amount of information into your short-term memory, hoping it sticks long enough to bubble it in on test day. It's an incredibly inefficient and stressful way to learn. The scientific solution to the forgetting curve is a technique called spaced repetition. Instead of learning a topic once and then moving on, you strategically review it at increasing intervals. You might review a math concept one day after learning it, then 3 days later, then a week later, then a month later. Each time you successfully recall the information, you're hitting a reset button on the forgetting curve and telling your brain, "Hey, this is important. Don't throw it away. Move it into long-term storage." It feels less intense than cramming, but it is neurologically 1,000 times more powerful for building durable, lasting knowledge. The kind of knowledge that doesn't disappear under the pressure of a timed test. The second critical concept is active recall, also known as retrieval practice. Many prep courses are built around a passive learning model. You sit in a classroom or watch a video as an instructor explains a concept. You read a chapter in a textbook. This feels productive. The information feels familiar. But this creates a dangerous cognitive bias called the illusion of fluency. Just because you understand something as it's being explained to you, does not mean you can reproduce it on your own. It's the difference between watching a chef cook a complex meal and actually being able to cook it yourself from memory. Active recall is the opposite of this. It's the act of actively retrieving information from your brain. It's not rereading your notes. It's closing the book and trying to write down everything you remember. It's not watching someone solve a problem. It's forcing yourself to struggle through that problem from scratch. Every time you force your brain to retrieve a memory, you strengthen the neural pathway to that information, making it easier and faster to access the next time. Practice questions are the ultimate form of active recall, but the struggle is the magic ingredient. When you get a question wrong, look up the answer and truly understand why you got it wrong. You create a powerful memory trace. Many prep courses give you thousands of questions, which is great, but their structure often encourages a passive mindset. You watch the lesson, then you do the problems. The information is fresh and easily accessible. The real test of knowledge is trying to solve a problem from week 2 when you're in week 7. Can you still retrieve that information? When you combine spaced repetition with active recall, you get the most effective learning system known to cognitive science. You are systematically fighting the forgetting curve, while actively building and strengthening the neural pathways for the information you need. You're not just cramming. You're fundamentally rewiring your brain for success on the test. So the billion-dollar question is, do these expensive SAT prep courses actually use these scientifically backed methods? The answer is sometimes, but often their business model gets in the way. Their model is to sell you a finite product, a 30-hour course over 8 weeks. That structure is inherently better suited for cramming than for true long-term spaced repetition, which ideally happens over months, not weeks. They are selling you a concentrated dose of information, a feeling of preparedness built on the illusion of fluency. But is that feeling backed by real durable knowledge? And what about the one element that no course, no matter how expensive, can ever truly give you? That one element is ownership. It's the grit, the personal buy-in, the deep-seated decision that this is your mountain to climb, not a task to be outsourced. No course can sell you a genuine desire to succeed. They can rent you a helicopter to fly you near the summit, making the view look deceptively close, but they cannot give you the legs and lungs to make the final ascent yourself. And that final ascent is the only part that actually matters. Let's talk about 2 students. We'll call them Sarah and David. Their stories are a composite of thousands of students I've seen over the years, and I guarantee you'll see a bit of yourself in one, or maybe even both of them. Sarah's parents, wanting the absolute best for her, enroll her in the Elite Platinum Accelerator package from a big-name test prep company. It costs a small fortune. She gets a binder filled with glossy, custom-printed materials. She has access to a slick online portal with thousands of practice questions and video explanations. Her instructor, a charismatic guy named Tom, is a master at making complex math problems seem simple and boring reading passages feel exciting. Sarah attends her 3-hour sessions twice a week. She listens intently, takes meticulous notes in a color-coded system, and feels a surge of confidence every time Tom reveals a secret trick for a specific question type. She leaves each class feeling exhausted but productive. She feels like she's doing everything right. She's putting in the time. The information is flowing into her brain. She is, by all accounts, a model student. Now let's meet David. David's family budget doesn't have room for a 4-figure prep course. His resources are the public library, a free Khan Academy account, and a hand-me-down official SAT study guide from a cousin, complete with scribbled notes in the margins. His journey isn't sleek or structured. It's messy. He watches a Salcon video on quadratic equations, gets confused, and has to rewatch it 3 times. He then grinds through a dozen practice problems, getting the first 4 wrong. He feels frustrated. There's no charismatic Tom to swoop in and make it all click. He has to sit with that frustration. He has to stare at his mistakes and reverse engineer his own misunderstanding. He has to leaf through the explanation in the back of the book, then go back to the problem, then back to the explanation until a tiny flicker of understanding ignites in his mind. His study sessions don't leave him feeling productive. They often leave him feeling drained and a little bit stupid. On the surface, Sarah's experience is clearly superior. It's efficient, professional, and confidence-boosting. David's is inefficient, solitary, and morale-sapping. But what's actually happening inside their brains is the polar opposite of what it feels like. Sarah is engaged in what cognitive scientists call passive learning. She is a spectator. The information is pre-digested and delivered to her in a perfectly palatable way. It's like being spoon-fed. It feels good, it's easy, but it does very little to build the underlying muscles of critical thinking. She's experiencing that illusion of fluency we talked about. Because Tom explained it so well, she feels like she understands it. But she has not been forced to struggle with it herself. She has mistaken the instructor's fluency for her own. David, on the other hand, is engaged in the brutal, messy, and profoundly effective process of active recall and desirable difficulty. Every time he gets a problem wrong and forces himself to figure out why, his brain is building a new, stronger neural pathway. The frustration he feels isn't a sign of failure. It's the very sensation of learning itself. It's the friction required to build intellectual muscle. He isn't just learning how to solve that specific quadratic equation. He's learning how to think his way through a problem when the path isn't obvious. He's not just memorizing a trick, he's building a problem-solving engine. About a month into their respective prep journeys, both Sarah and David sit down to take a full-length timed practice test. It's a moment of truth. Sarah goes in feeling confident. She recognizes the question types. She remembers Tom talking about this kind of grammar rule, that kind of geometry shortcut. But when the clock is ticking and it's just her and the page, something is wrong. The memory is fuzzy. She knows there's a trick, but she can't quite grasp it. The comfortable scaffolding of her classroom is gone, and she finds herself on shaky ground. When she gets her score back, she's crushed. She's improved by a mere 20 points. All that time, all that money. For what? She feels betrayed, not by the course but by her own mind. Why didn't it stick? The answer is simple. She never truly took ownership of the material. She outsourced the effort. She paid the course to do the heavy lifting, and the course happily obliged. She was a passenger in a car, watching the scenery go by. She saw the landmarks, but she never learned how to read the map herself. David goes into his practice test feeling nervous. He's acutely aware of all the things he doesn't know. His prep has been a constant confrontation with his own limitations. He starts the test and it's hard. But it's a familiar kind of hard. He gets to a tough algebra question, feels that old wave of frustration, but this time something is different. He knows the feeling. He's learned to sit with it, to prod at the problem from different angles, to lean on the foundational concepts he fought so hard to understand. He finishes the test exhausted. When he gets his score back, he's shocked. He's improved by 110 points. David didn't just learn the material. He learned how to learn. Each point of that 110-point increase was earned, forged in frustration and hammered into place through his own effort. He wasn't a passenger. He was the one in the driver's seat, navigating the messy backroads, getting lost and slowly, painstakingly finding his own way. This is the central paradox of test prep, the very thing that makes expensive courses so appealing. Their structure, their polished delivery, their promise of an easier path, can become a trap. They can create a comfortable buffer between the student and the necessary struggle that is at the heart of all real learning. They can sell you the feeling of progress without demanding the work that creates actual progress. So, is the story over? Is the lesson simply that courses are a waste and self-study is king? Not at all. The story of Sarah and David isn't finished, and the reality is far more nuanced. Because what happens when Sarah gets that devastating practice score back? What happens when she realizes that being a passive spectator isn't working? This is the moment where a prep course can either become a very expensive failure or transform into an incredibly powerful tool. And what about the students who aren't like David? The ones who are so overwhelmed they don't even know where to begin, for whom the chaos of self-study is a recipe for paralysis, not progress. For them, a guiding hand isn't a crutch, it's a lifeline. Let's meet that student. We'll call her Maria. Maria is a straight-A student. AP classes, extracurriculars, volunteers on weekends. By all accounts, she is the model of a successful high schooler. Her parents, seeing her potential, buy her every top-rated SAT book. They subscribe to the best online question banks. Her desk looks like a command center for a military operation against the College Board. And yet, for 3 straight weeks, Maria has accomplished almost nothing. She opens a book, gets overwhelmed by the sheer volume of the first chapter on comma rules, and decides maybe she should focus on math instead. She logs into the math portal, sees a list of 50 different geometry topics, and her stomach sinks. She feels a wave of anxiety, closes the laptop, and tells herself she'll start for real tomorrow. Maria is experiencing a classic case of analysis paralysis. She's drowning in a sea of good intentions and excellent resources. For students like her, the problem isn't a lack of material, it's the lack of a path. The freedom of self-study, which was a launchpad for someone like David, is a prison for Maria. This is where the fundamental value of a structured prep course begins to crystallize. It's not just about the information, it's about the architecture. The first and arguably most important thing a good prep course does is eliminate the tyranny of choice. It hands you a syllabus, a roadmap, a plan of attack meticulously designed by people who have spent years, even decades, deconstructing this exact test. Suddenly, Maria's terrifying, nebulous goal of get a good SAT score is broken down into a series of clear, manageable tasks. Monday, complete the lesson on subject-verb agreement and do practice set A. Wednesday, learn the 3 most common triangle types and drill problems 1 through 20. The course transforms the paralyzing question of what should I possibly do next into the simple, actionable command of do this now. It takes the immense mental energy that was being wasted on planning, organizing, and worrying and redirects all of it toward one thing: learning. For a student on the verge of burnout before they've even begun, this structure isn't just helpful, it's a rescue mission. But a syllabus is just a piece of paper. The second critical element a course provides is a living, breathing accountability engine. When you're studying alone, the only person you have to answer to is yourself. And let's be honest, we are masters at negotiating with ourselves. I'm too tired tonight. I'll do double the work tomorrow. This one TV show won't hurt. I deserve a break. These little negotiations become a death by 1,000 cuts for a study plan. Now, place Maria in a classroom, whether virtual or physical. Suddenly, there are external forces at play. There's a teacher who will ask if she did the homework. There are classmates who are discussing the problem she was supposed to have practiced. There's a quiz scheduled for the end of the week. This ecosystem of expectation creates positive pressure. It's much harder to procrastinate when you know you'll be letting down not just yourself, but a group and an instructor. This isn't about shame, it's about shared commitment. The simple act of showing up to a scheduled class twice a week builds a powerful rhythm and momentum that is incredibly difficult to manufacture on your own. Self-study is a lonely monologue. A good prep course turns it into a conversation, and conversations demand participation. This leads to the third, more nuanced psychological benefit: the expert guide. A great SAT prep instructor is far more than just a smart person who's good at math or grammar. They are a coach, a strategist, a professional pattern recognizer. They've seen hundreds, if not thousands, of students just like Maria. They can spot the specific trap in a math problem that trips up 90% of students. They can explain a grammar rule not just in a technical way, but in the 3 different ways required for 3 different types of learners to finally understand it. When Maria is stuck on a problem at home, she might spend 45 minutes spinning her wheels, getting frustrated, and maybe looking up a confusing, jargon-filled explanation online. Her confidence plummets. In a class, she can raise her hand and get a clear, targeted explanation in 2 minutes from someone whose entire job is to make things click. The instructor can say, "Ah, I see what you did. You fell for the classic distractor answer. Here's how the test makers bait you into that. And here's the mental checklist to use so you never make that mistake again." This is a game changer. It's not just about getting the right answer. It's about understanding the system behind the test. A book can give you the rules of the game. A good coach tells you how the other team likes to play, what their tendencies are, and how to exploit their weaknesses. This insight demystifies the SAT. transforming it from an intimidating monster into a beatable opponent with predictable moves. Furthermore, there's the emotional component. A good instructor manages the psychology of the room. They celebrate small victories. They reframe failures as learning opportunities. When a student is convinced they're just bad at math, a skilled teacher can diagnose the actual issue. Maybe it's a weakness in fractions from 7th grade, and provide the tools to fix it, rebuilding their confidence from the ground up. This mentorship, this ability to look a stressed-out 17-year-old in the eye and say, "This is hard, but you can do it and I'm going to help you," is something you will never ever get from a book or a pre-recorded video. So when we ask if a course is worth it for a student like Maria, we're not just measuring the potential point increase. We're measuring the value of converting crippling anxiety into a structured plan. We're measuring the value of replacing procrastination with accountability and momentum. We're measuring the value of turning frustrating confusion into focused, expert-led clarity. For students who are struggling not with the content, but with the chaos, a prep course isn't a luxury. It's the essential scaffolding they need to build their own success. They aren't just buying information they could technically find for free. They are buying structure, accountability, expert guidance, and perhaps most importantly, peace of mind. And for many families, that is an investment that pays for itself long before the test scores ever come out. But what about the content itself? Is the information taught in these courses really some secret proprietary knowledge you can't get anywhere else? Or is it all just a repackaging of what's already out there? Let's be brutally honest for a second. The core academic material on the SAT, the algebra, the geometry, the grammar rules, the reading comprehension skills, is not some ancient, forgotten knowledge locked away in a vault, accessible only to those who pay a four-figure tribute. It's the same material your high school teachers have been trying to drill into your head for years. The Pythagorean theorem is the same whether it's in your 10th grade textbook or a glossy $1,000 prep book. A semicolon does the same job on a Tuesday morning quiz as it does on a Saturday morning SAT. So, if the raw ingredients are free, what exactly are these companies selling? They're not selling the ingredients. They're selling the recipe. More than that, they're selling you a master chef who will stand over your shoulder and show you exactly how to use that recipe under intense pressure. Think about it this way. Anyone can go to the store and buy flour, eggs, sugar, and butter. But not everyone can bake a perfect 3-tiered wedding cake on their first try. The prep course is the masterclass that says, okay, you see these ingredients? Here is the exact order to mix them. Here is the precise temperature for the oven. Here's how to tell when it's done, not by looking at it, but by the smell, by the touch. And here, most importantly, are the 10 most common mistakes beginners make that will ruin your cake, and how to avoid every single one of them. The secret sauce of SAT prep isn't the what, it's the how. It's a fundamental shift in perspective. You stop looking at the SAT as a test of your intelligence or your high school knowledge, and you start looking at it for what it truly is. A highly standardized, highly predictable game with a specific set of rules. And these courses are designed to teach you how to play that game better than anyone else in the room. Their entire methodology is built on 3 strategic pillars. The first, and arguably the most important, is pattern recognition. The people who write the SAT aren't creating a brand new, avant-garde masterpiece every time. They have a formula. They have question types they use over and over and over again. A quality prep course has deconstructed and cataloged every single one of these patterns. So, when you see a complex-looking algebra problem, the untrained student starts trying to solve for x from scratch. The trained student, however, immediately recognizes it. They think, oh, I've seen this before. This is a difference of squares problem disguised as a word problem about a rectangular garden. I don't need to do all that long-form algebra. I can use the shortcut I learned and solve it in 15 seconds. The same goes for the verbal sections. An unprepared student reads a sentence in the writing and language section and thinks, does that sound right? They're relying on their ear, which can be easily tricked. The prepared student sees the same sentence and thinks, okay, the subject is team, which is singular, but the verb way over here is are, which is plural. That's a subject-verb agreement error. The answer is C. They're not guessing, they're diagnosing. They've been trained to spot the classic traps. The misplaced modifier, the faulty comparison, the comma splice. They've seen hundreds of examples of each, and their brain is now hardwired to detect them instantly. This isn't about being smarter. It's about having a better trained eye. It's the difference between a tourist looking at a forest and a botanist who can name every single tree and tell you which ones are poisonous. The second pillar is time management, or what I like to call test-taking triage. The SAT is a brutal race against the clock. You have, on average, a little over a minute per question. This is where so many brilliant students fall apart. They know the material cold, but they get bogged down on one difficult math problem, spend 5 precious minutes on it, and then have to blindly guess on the last 8 questions of the section. That's a disaster. Prep courses teach you to be a ruthless battlefield commander of your own time. They drill into you the concept that every question is worth the same single point. The easy question you can solve in 20 seconds is worth 1 point. The brain-bending monster that takes you 6 minutes is also worth 1 point. The logical conclusion? Your job is not to answer every question in order. Your job is to harvest as many points as possible in the time allotted. This is where strategies like the 2-pass system come in. On your first pass through a section, you only answer the questions you immediately know how to do, the layups. If you look at a question for more than 5 seconds and don't know how to start, you circle it and move on. No ego, no hesitation. You just move. After you've gone through the whole section and banked all the easy points, you use your remaining time to go back for a second pass on the ones you circled. This single strategy can be the difference between a 620 and a 720 for a student who knows the material but struggles with pacing. They teach you when to guess, how to use the process of elimination to improve your odds, and how to manage the clock so you never, ever leave easy points on the table. The third pillar is the most subtle, but it might be the most powerful: psychological warfare. These courses are designed to get you inside the test maker's head. The companies spend millions of dollars analyzing past exams to understand not just the right answers, but the wrong ones. For every question on the SAT, there is one correct answer and 3 or 4 distractors. Wrong answers that are specifically designed to look appealing. There's often one that's the result of a common calculation error. There's one that uses keywords from the passage but twists the meaning. There's one that's factually true but doesn't actually answer the question being asked. Prep courses teach you to spot these decoys. They show you the anatomy of a trap answer, so you can recognize it and avoid it. This transforms you from the prey into the hunter. You start looking at the answer choices with a healthy dose of suspicion, thinking, okay, which one of these did they put here to trick me? Beyond that, there's the simple brute force effect of confidence building. When you walk into that test center, you won't be seeing the format for the first or second time. You will have taken 8, 10, maybe 12 full-length, timed practice tests under realistic conditions. You've seen the instructions a dozen times. You know the rhythm of the sections. The test booklet feels familiar in your hands. That familiarity breeds confidence and kills anxiety. When your untrained peers are getting flustered by a weirdly worded question, you'll remain calm, because you've seen a dozen variations of it in your practice drills. You've put in the reps. You've built the muscle memory. So, is the content itself proprietary? No. You can find every math formula and grammar rule on the internet for free. But is the system proprietary? Absolutely. The curated curriculum, the focus on pattern recognition, the time management strategies, and the psychological training, that is the product. That is the recipe you're paying for. It's a holistic system designed not to teach you math and English, but to teach you one very specific, very valuable skill: the skill of taking the SAT. The real question, then, isn't whether the strategic approach has value. Clearly does. The real question is whether you need to pay a premium for someone to teach it to you. Can you become your own master strategist? Can you deconstruct the test, identify the patterns, and build your own training regimen using the mountain of free and low-cost resources available today? The answer to that is where this whole debate gets really interesting. The truth is, for a certain type of student, becoming your own strategist isn't just possible. It's the single most effective path to a top score. This isn't the budget option. It's the empowerment option. It's for the student who sees the SAT not as a monster to be slain by a hired knight, but as a complex machine to be reverse engineered. It's for the person who wants to understand the engine, not just be a passenger. If that sounds like you, then forget the glossy brochures and the 4-figure price tags for a moment. Let's build your battle plan from the ground up, using a toolkit that is almost entirely free. Your first move, your absolute non-negotiable step 1, is to take a full official practice test from the College Board. Not a Kaplan test, not a Princeton review test, but a real blue-blooded retired SAT. You need to do this under real test conditions. That means timed sections, no phone, no breaks other than the prescribed ones. This is your diagnostic. It's the MRI that shows you exactly where the problems are. Getting a score is the least important part of this process. The real work begins after you put the pencil down. You must perform an autopsy on every single question you got wrong, and every question you guessed on and got right. You can't just look at the right answer and say, "Oh, okay." You have to ask why. Why did I fall for that trap answer in the reading section? Was it a vocabulary issue? Or did I misinterpret the author's tone? Why did I mess up that algebra problem? Was it a careless calculation? Or do I fundamentally not understand how to factor a quadratic equation? This initial brutally honest self-assessment is the foundation of your entire prep. Without it, you're just shooting in the dark. Once you have your diagnostic data, you build your arsenal. And your first and greatest weapon is Khan Academy. It's the official partner of the College Board for a reason. And it's free. The magic happens when you link your College Board account to your Khan Academy account. It will literally import your test results and generate a personalized study plan based on your specific weaknesses. If you struggled with punctuation questions, it will serve you up drills on commas and semicolons. If you bombed the geometry problems, it will give you lessons and practice on circles and triangles. This is the core of your smart studying. It's a dynamic system that adapts to you, pushing you to work on the exact skills that will give you the biggest point gains. Think of it as your free 24/7 personal tutor. Your second weapon is the cache of official practice tests themselves. The College Board has released about 10 of them to the public. These are pure gold. They are the only truly accurate representation of the test you will face on Saturday morning. Every other company is just trying to imitate the real thing. Your plan should involve strategically using these tests as milestones. You take one at the beginning. You study for 3 or 4 weeks, targeting your weaknesses. Then you take another one. You analyze the results, see what's improved and what hasn't, adjust your Khan Academy plan, and repeat the cycle. This creates a feedback loop of practice, analysis, and targeted improvement. This is how you build skill, not just familiarity. Now let's add a third, more unconventional weapon to your arsenal. The online community, specifically the r/SAT subreddit. This might sound strange, but this forum is one of the most powerful SAT prep resources on the planet. It is a hive mind of hundreds of thousands of students, past and present, who are all obsessed with one thing: cracking this test. You can find detailed explanations for literally every single question on every official practice test. You can find study guides written by students who scored a perfect 1600. You can find peer-reviewed strategies for time management on the reading section or clever shortcuts for the math section. It's a place to ask questions when you're stuck, to find motivation when you're burning out, and to realize you're not alone in this ridiculous process. It is the definition of crowdsourced expertise. With your diagnostic done and your arsenal assembled, you now need the most critical piece: the training regimen. This is where most self-studiers fail. They treat studying like a binge. They do nothing for 2 weeks and then try to cram for 8 hours on a Sunday. That doesn't work. The key to mastering the SAT is consistency. You need a schedule. 30 to 60 minutes a day, 5 or 6 days a week, is infinitely more effective than a weekend marathon. This daily practice builds the patterns into your brain. It makes recognizing the question types and executing the strategies second nature. And during this daily practice, you must maintain one crucial habit: the error log. This is a simple spreadsheet or notebook where you document every single mistake you make. For each mistake, you write down the question, what you thought the answer was, what the real answer is, and most importantly, why you got it wrong. Categorize the error. Was it a content gap, meaning you didn't know the underlying math rule or grammar concept? Was it a misread question, where you solved for x when they asked for 2x? Was it a careless error, a simple calculation mistake? Or was it a time pressure mistake? Over time, your error log will reveal your deepest patterns of weakness. You might discover that 70% of your math errors are just careless mistakes, which tells you to slow down and double-check your work. You might find that you consistently fall for a specific type of trap answer in the reading section. The error log turns your mistakes from failures into data points. It is the single most powerful tool for targeted self-improvement. So, the blueprint is there. Diagnose with an official test. Build an arsenal with Khan Academy official tests and the Reddit community. Execute a consistent training regimen built around a detailed error log. Sounds simple, but it requires a specific mindset. This path is not for everyone. It demands an immense amount of self-discipline. There is no teacher to check your homework, no mandatory class to show up to. If you decide to watch Netflix instead of doing your daily drills, no one will know but you, and your score will reflect it. You have to be your own coach, your own motivator, and your own drill sergeant. It also requires intellectual curiosity. You can't just wait for information to be fed to you. When you don't understand something, you have to have the drive to go find the answer. Whether it's an Khan Academy video, a textbook, or a deep dive into a Reddit thread, you are the architect of your own learning. And finally, it requires brutal self-honesty. Your error log will be a testament to your weaknesses. You have to be willing to look at it, acknowledge your flaws without ego, and systematically work to fix them. The biggest pitfall of the DIY route isn't a lack of resources. It's the illusion of progress. It's so easy to just do hundreds of practice problems, get a bunch wrong, quickly look at the answers, and feel like you're working hard. But activity is not achievement. If you are not deeply, painfully analyzing every single mistake you make, you are not learning. You are just practicing your mistakes. You're reinforcing bad habits. This is the chasm that separates the successful self-studier from the one who spins their wheels for months and sees no improvement. The successful one is obsessed with why they are wrong. They hunt for the root cause of every error and refuse to move on until they understand it. So, this is the path of the self-strategist. It's a path of autonomy, discipline, and deep learning. It can lead to incredible results, often rivaling or even surpassing what students get from expensive courses. But it is a demanding road. It requires you to be the hero of your own story. Which begs the question, what exactly are you paying for with a multi-thousand-dollar prep course? What do they provide that this robust, free ecosystem doesn't? Are they selling a secret strategy, a shortcut, or are they simply selling accountability in a box? To answer that, we have to pull back the curtain on the prep industry itself. The SAT prep industry isn't some scrappy startup run out of a garage. It's a multi-billion-dollar behemoth, a finely tuned machine built on a single powerful promise: a higher score. It's a promise that whispers directly to the deepest anxieties of students and parents alike. The promise of a ticket to a better future. The promise of an edge. Their websites are splashed with smiling faces, Ivy League pennants, and score increases that look like lottery winnings. Plus 150 points, plus 200, plus 250. They market a specific type of dream, one where a single test doesn't have to be a barrier, but a catapult. And for a price, they'll sell you the rocket fuel. But when you hand over that credit card, what are you actually buying? Let's break down the product, piece by piece, and see what's inside the glossy packaging. First, you get a curriculum, a structured plan. This is arguably the most fundamental component. While the core content, the grammar rules, the math formulas, the reading comprehension skills, is public domain and available for free, the prep course acts as a curator and a guide. It takes the vast, intimidating mountain of information that is the SAT and carves a clear path to the summit. Week 1. Linear equations and punctuation. Week 2. Quadratic functions and sentence structure. It imposes order on chaos. They provide a syllabus, homework assignments, and a sequential learning process designed for steady, incremental improvement. They've done the heavy lifting of figuring out what to study, and in what order, so you don't have to. You're not just buying information. You're buying a pre-packaged, professionally designed study plan. Second, you get an instructor, a human guide. This is often the biggest variable and the biggest selling point. The ideal prep course instructor is a unicorn, a 99th percentile scorer who is also a gifted, charismatic teacher. Someone who can not only solve the hardest problems with ease but can also explain the how and the why in a way that clicks. They're part subject matter expert, part motivational coach, part test-taking therapist. A great instructor can transform a dry 2-hour class into an engaging and even entertaining experience. They can spot a student's weakness from a single question and offer targeted advice. This is the best-case scenario, but the reality can be a game of tutor roulette. The industry has a huge demand for instructors, and the hiring standards can vary wildly. Many instructors are simply college students who did well on the tests themselves. They're given a binder, a script, and a crash course in the company's method. They might be brilliant, but they may lack the teaching experience to handle a diverse classroom of learners. I once had a friend in college who got a job with a major prep company. His qualifications: a 1520 on his own SAT and a single weekend of training. He was a smart guy, but was he a master educator equipped to guide dozens of students through one of the most stressful exams of their lives? The company certainly thought he was good enough. So when you sign up, you might get that seasoned veteran with a decade of experience, or you might get a sophomore history major who's just trying to make some extra cash. You're paying for expertise, but the level of that expertise isn't always guaranteed. Third, you get the materials. The proprietary textbooks, the online portals, the stacks of practice tests. This is where things get interesting. Most of the content in these books is, again, a repackaging of fundamental concepts. But the real value and potential pitfall lies in their practice questions and full-length exams. The College Board has only released a limited number of official practice tests. To provide enough material for a multi-week course, prep companies have to create their own. Their teams of experts write thousands of questions designed to mimic the style, tone, and difficulty of the real SAT. When done well, this is incredibly valuable. It allows students to drill specific skills and build endurance with a seemingly endless supply of fresh problems. But when done poorly, it can be disastrous. A poorly written question might be ambiguous, have more than one right answer, or test a concept that isn't even on the SAT. Even more dangerous are the full-length tests that are improperly calibrated. If a company's practice test is significantly harder than the real thing, it can crush a student's confidence and cause them to panic, thinking they're not making any progress. If it's too easy, it can create a false sense of security, leading to a brutal shock on test day when the real questions feel impossibly difficult. These proprietary materials are a core part of the product, but their quality is often a black box, a trade secret you can't verify until you've already paid. Finally, and most alluringly, you get the secret strategies. The tips, tricks, and hacks that promise to unlock the test's hidden patterns. This is the magic potion they sell. They'll teach you how to spot trap answers in the reading section, how to use the process of elimination to turn a 1 in 4 guess into a 1 in 2, how to manage your time down to the second. They have acronyms and catchy names for every technique. But here's the truth behind the curtain. There are no real secrets. These strategies aren't magic. They are simply well-packaged, fundamental principles of smart test-taking. Process of elimination isn't a secret. It's just logical deduction. Pacing yourself isn't a hack. It's just good time management. Understanding that the SAT often includes tempting but ultimately incorrect distractor answers isn't insider knowledge. It's just pattern recognition. What the prep courses do brilliantly is systematize these principles. They turn vague advice like manage your time well into a concrete, actionable strategy, like spend no more than 60 seconds on the first 10 math questions. They drill these techniques relentlessly until they become second nature. It's like learning a sport. A coach doesn't teach you a secret way to swing a bat. They teach you the proper form for a swing, and then they make you practice it 500 times. The prep course is the coach. The value isn't in the secret itself, but in the structured, repetitive, and expert-led practice that burns that skill into your brain. So, when you add it all up, the curriculum, the instructor, the materials, the strategies, what is the real product? It's not just information. It's structure. It's guidance. And perhaps most importantly, it's a solution to two of the biggest obstacles any student faces: anxiety and inertia. The sheer scale of preparing for the SAT is overwhelming. It's a mountain with no clear trail. A prep course provides that trail. It reduces the paralyzing anxiety of what should I be doing right now by simply telling you what to do. And it solves the problem of inertia, the difficulty of just getting started and staying consistent, by creating an external force. This force has a name: accountability. When your parents have spent $2,000, and you have a class to attend every Tuesday and Thursday with a teacher who expects you to have your homework done, you show up. You do the work. It's a powerful psychological package, a system designed to manufacture discipline. They are selling a structured path, expert-led practice, and a potent dose of accountability in a box. The question that remains then is a simple one. Does putting all these pieces together actually work? Does this expensive, well-packaged product truly deliver the results it promises on its glossy brochures? Let's get to the heart of it, the multi-million-dollar question. When you slice through the marketing, the testimonials, and the parental anxiety, do these courses actually raise scores in a meaningful way? The answer, as frustrating as it is both a resounding yes and a deeply disappointing no. It is one of the most polarizing topics in college admissions, and for good reason. The data is a battlefield. On one side, you have the test maker itself, the College Board. For decades, their official stance was essentially that test prep had a negligible effect. They argued that the SAT was a test of deep-seated reasoning skills developed over a lifetime of learning, not something you could cram for. They would publish studies showing that students who took prep courses only saw average gains of around 20 to 30 points. To them, it was a test of aptitude, not a test of test-taking. Paying $1,000 for a 30-point bump? That's a tough pill to swallow. It makes the entire industry look like snake oil. But then, on the other side of the battlefield, you have the prep companies. They fire back with their own data, their own studies, and their flashy score increase guarantees. They'll plaster their websites with testimonials from students who jump 200, 250, even 300 points. They'll offer a 150-point score increase guarantee, or your money back. How can both of these things be true? How can the College Board report a paltry 30-point average gain, while prep companies are guaranteeing 5 times that amount? The truth, as it so often does, lives in the murky gray area in between. It lies in the fine print, in the definition of average, and most importantly, in the type of student sitting in that chair. Let's start with that 30-point average from the older independent studies. That number is not a lie, but it is profoundly misleading. An average is a dangerous thing. If one student gains 100 points and 2 students gain nothing, the average gain is 33 points. Does that mean the course was only 33 points effective? No. For one student, it was a game changer. For the other 2, it was a waste of time. And this is the absolute crux of the matter. SAT prep is not a uniform medicine that works the same for every person. Its effectiveness is wildly dependent on the patient. So, who is the patient that sees those massive brochure-worthy score jumps? Generally, they fall into one specific category: the student with a significant knowledge gap about the test itself. This is a smart kid, someone who does well in their high school classes. They understand algebra, they can read complex passages, but they've never been formally taught the game of the SAT. They don't know the specific question types that appear every single time. They haven't mastered pacing strategies for the brutal time constraints. They don't know how to spot the trap answers designed to look correct. For this student, an SAT prep course is like a revelation. It's like giving a talented basketball player their first real coach. Suddenly, they learn the fundamentals, the plays, the strategies. Their raw talent is refined, and their performance skyrockets. This is where you see the 150-point jumps. The course wasn't teaching them calculus. It was teaching them the SAT. Then you have the second type of student, the high achiever. This student is already scoring in the 95th percentile or higher, think 1450 or above. They're not looking for a 200-point jump. That's statistically almost impossible. They are in a street fight for every last point. They want to go from a 1510 to a 1560 to break into that top-tier Ivy League bracket. For them, a prep course offers a different kind of value. It's about refinement at the highest level. They work with elite tutors who can dissect the most esoteric grammar rules or the trickiest multi-step math problems. The gains are small, maybe 40 or 50 points, but at that level, 50 points is the difference between a maybe and a yes. For them, the high cost is justified by the marginal, yet critical, gain. But then there's the third and largest group of students. These are the students for whom prep courses are often least effective, and ironically, the ones who feel the most pressure to enroll. This is the student with foundational content weaknesses. A student who genuinely struggles with algebra concepts, or has a lower reading comprehension level. A fast-paced 6-week SAT prep course is not designed to reteach you 2 years of high school math. It's designed to teach you strategies and tricks to apply to the math you're supposed to already know. For this student, the course is a frustrating experience. They're being taught shortcuts to a destination they don't have the map for. The tutor is talking about plugging in numbers or backsolving, but the student is still stuck on how to set up the initial equation. They might pick up a few points from learning basic tricks, but they won't see a major jump because the underlying issue isn't being addressed. It's like giving a world-class running coach to someone who hasn't learned to walk yet. The advice, no matter how good, just won't land. And this is why the average gain across all students is so low. Because for every one student who has that aha moment and jumps 150 points, there are several more who are simply in the wrong place and they only gain 10 or 20 points or sometimes none at all. Beyond this, we have to account for 2 powerful psychological factors that have nothing to do with the curriculum itself: the placebo effect and simple accountability. When a family shells out $2,000 for a course, the student feels immense pressure to perform. They believe it will work, which in itself can be a powerful motivator. They are more likely to study, to focus because of the sheer financial and emotional investment. This is the placebo effect in action. The belief in the cure contributes to the cure itself. Furthermore, the simple act of having a structured class schedule and homework deadlines forces a student to study. It's the accountability we talked about. Many of these students wouldn't have put in the 40 or 50 hours of work on their own. So is their score increase a result of the company's secret strategies? or a result of them simply being forced to practice for 50 hours. It's impossible to untangle. The prep course acts as an expensive but effective commitment device. Now, what about those money-back guarantees? That 150-point increase guarantee sounds like a risk-free proposition. But this is where the marketing genius is truly on display. You have to read the fine print. Almost all of these guarantees come with a litany of conditions. First, you often need a qualifying official SAT or SAT score to even be eligible. They're not taking on students starting at a 900. They want students already in the sweet spot for improvement. Second, you must have perfect attendance. Miss one class. Guarantee is void. Third, you must complete 100% of the homework, which is often voluminous. Don't do one problem set. Guarantee is void. You must take every single proctored practice test. And after all of that, if you've met every single one of these stringent requirements and you still don't improve by the guaranteed amount, what do you get? You almost never get your money back. You get the opportunity to take the same course again for free. The number of people who actually claim and receive a monetary refund is astonishingly small. It's a marketing tool, not a consumer protection policy. So yes, the courses do work. They work wonders for the right student. They provide structure, accountability, and test-specific strategies that are difficult to learn in a normal high school classroom. But they are not magic. The advertised gains are often best-case scenarios, not the norm. The true average gain for a randomly selected student is likely closer to the modest numbers the College Board has reported for years, somewhere in the 30 to 70-point range. The value, then, isn't just in the point increase but in the confidence and familiarity the student gains with the test. It demystifies a scary and intimidating process. The ultimate question for you isn't just do they work, but will they work for me? Are you a student who just needs to learn the rules of the game, or do you need to go back and learn the sport from scratch? Because identifying which camp you fall into is the single most important factor in deciding whether that four-figure price tag is a brilliant investment in your future or a complete and utter waste of money. And if you suspect you might not be that perfect candidate for a traditional course, or if that price tag is simply out of reach, what are your other options? Can you possibly achieve the same or even better results for a fraction of the cost? The short answer is an emphatic, resounding yes. You absolutely can. In fact, for a certain type of student, the disciplined, the self-aware, the one who wants total control over their learning, building your own prep plan isn't just a budget-friendly alternative. It's the superior path. Let's call this the path of the scrappy scorer. This isn't about being cheap. It's about being smart. It's about assembling a personalized arsenal of tools that are often more effective and always more efficient than the one-size-fits-all model. So, where does the scrappy scorer begin? The foundation of any successful self-prep journey is built on a resource so powerful, so comprehensive, and so astonishingly free that it's almost criminal not to use it. I'm talking, of course, about Khan Academy. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Khan Academy? That's for my little brother's algebra homework. Wrong. The College Board, the very creators of the SAT, have officially partnered with Khan Academy to create the single best free SAT prep resource on the planet. This isn't some third-party imitation. This is the official stuff, straight from the source. Here's how you use it like a pro. First, you link your College Board account. If you've taken the SAT, this is a game changer. Khan Academy will instantly import your SAT results and generate a personalized study plan based on your exact weaknesses. It doesn't just say you're bad at math. It says, you specifically struggle with problems involving quadratic equations and interpreting linear functions. It pinpoints your deficiencies with surgical precision. From there, it gives you a roadmap of practice questions, instructional videos, and articles, all designed to fill those specific gaps in your knowledge. It's like having a free tutor who already knows everything you don't. Even if you haven't taken the SAT, you can take several full-length diagnostic tests right on their platform to get the same personalized plan. This isn't just about doing random practice problems. It's targeted, intelligent practice that attacks your weaknesses head-on. The second part of this free foundation is the official practice tests released by the College Board itself. You can find them on their website or in their official SAT study guide. These are the crown jewels. You must treat these 10 or so tests like precious, non-renewable resources. Why? Because every other practice question from every other company is, at best, an educated guess of what the real test will be like. These official tests are the real thing. They are made by the same people, with the same phrasing, the same trap answers, and the same subtle nuances as the test you'll take on Saturday morning. Doing these tests under time conditions is the closest you can get to simulating the real experience. They are your benchmark, your diagnostic tool, and your final exam all rolled into one. The Scrappy Scorer doesn't just do these tests. They study them, they dissect them, they learn to think like the test makers. Okay, so you've built your foundation with the free, official resources. Now it's time to add some specialized firepower. This is where we enter the world of low-cost, high-impact tools, starting with books. But not just any books. Please do not go to a bookstore and buy the heaviest 1,000-page ultimate SAT guide you can find. That's like trying to learn to cook by reading an encyclopedia. It's overwhelming and inefficient. The smart strategy is to buy books that specialize. For the reading and writing section, the undisputed champions are Erica Meltzer's The Critical Reader Guides. She doesn't just give you tips. She deconstructs the entire section, teaching you the underlying grammar rules and logic the test is built on. For math, books from the College Panda series by Nielsen Fu are legendary. They break down every single math concept tested on the SAT into digestible chapters with focused practice. These books cost around $30 each, and they provide more targeted strategic value than a generic course that costs 50 times as much. But what if you want something more interactive than a book, but more flexible than a classroom? Welcome to the Netflix model of SAT prep. Online question banks and platforms. For a monthly subscription, often less than the cost of a few pizzas, you get access to a massive searchable library of practice questions. A platform like UWorld is a fantastic example. They offer thousands of practice questions, each with an incredibly detailed explanation that not only tells you why the right answer is right, but more importantly, why every wrong answer is wrong. They use diagrams, charts, and step-by-step logic that's often better than what you'd get in a crowded classroom. Another one, 1600.io, features video explanations for every single question in the official College Board practice tests, walking you through the logic of a perfect score. This is a phenomenal way to review your practice tests. You're not just paying for questions. You're paying for world-class explanations on demand. It gives you the structure and volume of a course, but with the freedom to focus on exactly what you need whenever you want. Now we come to the single most important component of the Scrappy Scorers Toolkit. It's more powerful than any book, any website, or any course. And it's completely free. It's the practice of rigorous self-analysis, best embodied by one simple tool: the error log. An error log is a journal, a spreadsheet, or a simple notebook, where you meticulously track every single question you get wrong on a practice test or a drill. But you don't just write down the question number. That's useless. You categorize the mistake. You become a detective investigating your own mind. For every error you ask, why did I get this wrong? And the answer isn't because I'm bad at math. It's more specific. Was it a careless mistake like bubbling in the wrong answer, or a simple calculation error? Was it a content gap, meaning you genuinely didn't know the underlying grammar rule or math formula? Was it a time pressure error, where you knew how to do it but rushed and made a silly mistake? Or was it the most common one of all? Did you misread the question, misunderstanding what was actually being asked? By tracking your mistakes in this way, you'll start to see patterns emerge. You might realize that 70% of your math errors aren't because you don't know the concepts, but because you rush and make careless mistakes in the last 10 minutes. The solution isn't to study more geometry. It's to practice your pacing and double-checking. You might find that in the reading section, you always get tripped up on questions that use the word except. The solution is to train yourself to slow down and circle that word every time you see it. An error log transforms you from a passive student into an active analyst of your own performance. This level of personalized feedback is something no prep course can ever fully replicate. It's you coaching yourself. Finally, the Scrappy Scorer knows they don't have to go it alone. The biggest drawback of self-study can be isolation. But in the digital age, that's a choice, not a necessity. Online communities like the r/SAT subreddit are bustling hubs of thousands of students all on the same journey. You can ask a question about a specific tricky math problem and get 10 different explanations within an hour. You can find study schedules, book recommendations, and most importantly, motivation from peers who are in the exact same boat. It's a free 24/7 study group. This path, the path of the Scrappy Score, isn't easier. It requires more discipline, more initiative, and more honesty with yourself than simply showing up to a class. But the payoff is immense. You build a prep plan that is perfectly molded to your brain, your schedule, and your budget. You take complete ownership of your success. And when you walk into that test center, you do so with the unshakable confidence that comes from knowing you didn't just buy a plan, you built one. So let's bring this all home. The ultimate question we've been dancing around for this entire journey isn't really, are SAT prep courses worth it? The real question, the one you need to ask yourself, is, am I willing to do what it takes to get the score I want? Because a prep course is not a magic pill. It's a tool. It's a map. But you still have to drive the car. You still have to walk the path. Buying a gym membership doesn't make you fit. Showing up, sweating, and pushing your limits does. A prep course is the gym membership of the standardized testing world. Let me tell you a story about two students. Let's call them Jessica and Mike. Both are juniors. Both have a baseline score of 1200 on the SAT. Both want to break 1450 to have a real shot at their dream school. Their paths, however, could not be more different. Jessica's parents, wanting the absolute best for her, signed her up for the most prestigious all-inclusive prep course in town. It costs them nearly $3,000. It comes with a fancy binder, access to an online portal with hundreds of videos, and a guaranteed score increase. Jessica feels a wave of relief. The pressure is off. The experts have it handled. She goes to the classes twice a week. She sits in the back, listens, and takes notes when the instructor says something is important. When she gets home, she's tired from school and extracurriculars. She does the assigned homework, but she rushes through it. If she gets a question wrong, she looks at the answer key, says, "Oh, right," and moves on. She doesn't dig into the why. She doesn't rework the problem from scratch. She's passively receiving information, checking a box. She assumes that by simply being present, the knowledge will be absorbed through osmosis. She's outsourced the responsibility for her success to the course. Now let's look at Mike. Mike's family doesn't have thousands to spend on a course. He feels a knot of anxiety in his stomach. It's all on him. So he gets to work. He goes to the official College Board website and partners with Khan Academy. It's 100% free. He takes a full-length timed practice test at his kitchen table on a Saturday morning. No phone. No distractions. He gets a 1220. He's disappointed, but now he has data. He doesn't just look at his score. He performs an autopsy on his test. He sees that he's crushing the grammar questions but getting destroyed by the reading for evidence questions. In math, he's solid on algebra but completely lost on trigonometry and circle theorems. His enemy now has a name. It's not the SAT. It's specific concepts. He spends the next 2 weeks on Khan Academy, not doing random practice but watching every video and doing every drill specifically on circle theorems. He buys a used SAT math book online for $10 and does every single circle problem in it. He starts reading articles from sources like Scientific American and The Atlantic, not just for fun, but actively hunting for the author's main point and supporting evidence, training his brain for the reading section. He sets a timer and does 15-minute practice drills every other day. He's not just studying, he's training like an athlete. After 3 weeks of this targeted surgical attack on his weaknesses, he takes another practice test. His score is 1310, a 90-point jump. He sees what worked. He repeats the process for his next weakest area. He is the CEO of his own test prep. He is in complete control. 3 months later, Jessica and Mike walk into the same test center. Jessica walks in with the hope that her expensive course paid off. Mike walks in with the confidence that his hard work did. Jessica finishes the test and feels okay. She recognized a lot of the material from her class. Mike finishes the test and feels exhausted but certain. He recognized the patterns he had trained himself to see. The results come back. Jessica got a 1340, a 140-point increase. Her parents are pleased. The course worked. But it's not the 1450 she dreamed of. Mike got a 1480, a 260-point increase. He didn't just hit his goal, he shattered it. So, who got the better deal? The story isn't about money. It's about ownership. Jessica bought a product. Mike embraced a process. A prep course can be a fantastic tool if you approach it with the mindset of Mike. If you show up to every class determined to squeeze every drop of value out of it, if you engage with the instructor, ask the hard questions, and then go home and wrestle with the material until you master it, then yes, a course can be worth its weight in gold. It can provide the structure and expertise to amplify your own efforts. But if you think that writing a check is a substitute for doing the work, you are setting yourself up for disappointment. You will get far more out of a free Khan Academy account that you use with intensity and focus than you will from a $3,000 course that you treat like a passive lecture. So here's the final verdict, framed as a checklist for you. 1. What is your personality? Are you a self-starter, disciplined and organized like Mike? If so, self-study is a powerful option. Or do you thrive with external accountability and structure? Do you need a coach to make you show up to the gym? Be honest with yourself. If you know you won't do it on your own, the structure of a course might be the single most valuable thing it offers. 2. What's your starting point and what's your goal? If you're starting at a 1050 and aiming for a 1200, the path is relatively straightforward. You likely have content gaps you can fill effectively with free resources and targeted practice. But if you're starting at a 1400 and trying to break into the 1550 plus elite tier, you're not fighting content gaps anymore. You're fighting tricky wording, advanced strategies, and timing. This is where the expertise of a high-quality instructor or a specialized program can be invaluable, helping you find those last few, incredibly difficult points. 3. What is your budget? This is the reality check. Never ever go into debt for an SAT prep course. It is not worth it. The return on investment is not there. If your budget is zero, your path is clear. Khan Academy, the public library, and relentless hard work. If you have a modest budget, consider the hybrid approach. Start with free resources to find your weaknesses, then make a surgical investment. Buy a few highly rated prep books. Or maybe hire a tutor for just 5 or 6 sessions to focus exclusively on your weakest section. This is infinitely more efficient than a one-size-fits-all course. And finally, let's zoom out. In the new world of test-optional admissions, is this whole stressful enterprise even necessary? Here's the truth. The value of dedicated SAT preparation extends far beyond the score itself. The process of sitting down, identifying a weakness, creating a plan, and executing on it day after day, even when it's boring and hard, that is a skill that will serve you for the rest of your life. The discipline you build, the time management skills you hone, the analytical muscles you strengthen, those are the foundational skills for success in college and your career. Preparing for the SAT, when done right, is a masterclass in learning how to learn. It teaches you to confront challenges systematically, not emotionally. It forces you to manage your focus and energy under pressure. So even if you end up not submitting your score, the work is never wasted. You walk away a more capable, resilient, and disciplined student. So are SAT prep courses worth it? They are worth exactly as much as the effort you are willing to put into them. They can be a powerful accelerator or an expensive security blanket. The choice is yours. Don't buy a solution. Build your own. Start today. Take a practice test. Get your data. And then, and only then, decide what tools you need to build the future you deserve. The power was never in the course. It was always in you.